Hello, Frida Reba Darcy and Patricia O'Connor here, and we have started accumulating some of the materials that we're going to, oh no, that's another bloom. Some of the materials that we're going to be needing for our shelf. Now, this is our 2 rolls of 18-inch wide, 10-foot long sheets of 5 mil plastic. Copper plastic. Yeah, Pat. Well, a lot of times people will describe plastic by mil. So sometimes if you're going to say mil, it's just kind of like plastic almost falls off the end of the sentence. Anyway, those are our 2 rolls. That's our 2 rolls of copper hanging out there that we're going to get started with. And here are our 1 pound of copper nails. Oh, those bright, shiny bastards. And like I said, they've got these. Where are you? Where's the damn camera? There they are. They've got this, focus. They've got this little shank on them that'll help them stay rooted. This is just something to show you guys in case you ever need a really serious nail somewhere. And if it's going to show anyway, let it be copper instead of rusty old iron. Give them something to look at. And with that, that serrated edge going all the way up, they bite really hard, which is secondary. I mean, this is going to be a pretty wimpy little gutter, so it's not like they got to hang on for dear life. But if you wanted to look at a good nail to fix a popping up floorboard, or you were going to make bonsai pots out of something that you didn't want to rust away and you wanted to stay built a long time, that might be your guy. So yeah, that's that, and that's that. I am still waiting for our materials for what I'm calling the end cap, which will help us with our trough that way. As you can see, the gap here has grown. I didn't drop it down as much as I said I would, but I dropped it down enough that on this end, the corner bracket that's underneath, the last little hole on the top was running out of space for me to put a lag screw through it. If I'd have dropped down any lower, I wouldn't have been able to put a lag. So that pretty much, I think, I just looked at that and said, well, that's going to dictate that's a good height. We're going to call that fair to middle. And then we'll drop the other end down to a slope and everything else will play off of that. And that's pretty much what we did. That's pretty much what we did there. Ironically, I could still get a lag screw under that corner bracket underneath there, even after I dropped it lower than the other end. That's probably because the holes weren't exactly in the same place on both brackets. So had I known that, I might have used that. There is an awful lot of growth flushing out on the Cork Bark Oak, and even all the branches that had lost all their leaves are pushing out new stuff. And I am still continuing with the treatment of the Bear 3-in-1 treatment, and I am still seeing dieback. I'm still seeing dieback from the new growth that comes out. Not as much on this one yet, more so on this one. It is just almost got so much. All of this is new, and tomorrow I will go through and pick some of it off because it'll come out and then it'll start getting black spots all over it, like those black spots there, and like the black there And it is. See, this is not an evergreen. The cork bark is. It's kind of like it to put on new leaves this time of year. This tree, I believe, is freaking out and trying to put on foliage to overcome what it's losing. And it looks like to me that it's not getting to keep it. I would say that I'm slowing it down, but look, that didn't exist 3 days ago, and it's already popped up, came up that high, started flushing out, and it already has it. So some of these other leaves, you go, well, maybe they've been on there for, no. I remember you when you were a baby just 2 days ago, and now you're on the way out. So it's pushing out new growth, and it's still dying back at a fast rate. Although I want to say that I may have slowed it down with these treatments. I'm not 100% sure of that yet. I feel like I've slowed it down, but that might partially be wishful thinking. This thing may be dying on me. But you know what else? I tend to look inward whenever there's a problem, which is not always helpful. It's always good to go, okay, what did I do? Is there something I'm doing wrong here? Because if it's something you're doing wrong, then that's the easiest thing to fix. You're the variable, and if you can just, like, heaven forbid, you just have to not do something, that's great. That's the easiest thing in the world. Fine, got it. Won't do that anymore, right? But when you waste time thinking that you've done something wrong, and then it comes out to be that it's blighted with something, then just hope that you haven't wasted too much of your time. In this case, I've been treating it for disease. I've been treating it for overfeeding, and I've been treating it for overwatering. And it's starting to look like, to me, like disease is going to win. It's starting to look like, to me, like that's what I was dealing with. Now, you might go, well, pat yourself on the back. At least you weren't well, no, like I said, the easiest thing in the world, a lot easier than pouring chemicals and hoping for the best. It's just to back off your watering. So I'd have felt like a dumbass for wrecking them, but I've been a dumbass before. That it's not gonna, hopefully that won't kill you. Learn, and it won't anyway. So this guy is pushing out more, but the same thing that I'm talking about with the dark trunk, I don't remember all of this being this dark before. Maybe, but I don't remember that part of the show. So some of this stuff is starting to finally push out a little bit, and some of it isn't, like that guy. I'm worried that this stuff is all going to push out and then just go away before it pops out fully. So that's it. That's what I'm concerned with as far as that's concerned. My Japanese black pines ×3 are doing really well, and this one is showing me some love for what I've done so far. I've got some delicious little back buds to look at, and so I'm pretty happy with it. The bougainvilleas, mama bougainvillea is looking pretty good. Baby bougainvillea is looking also pretty good. About the oaks, damn, what's with the oaks? I finally had a mammy that a mame that I liked. I mean, that seemed to like me, and now I'm struggling with it too. It's a hard roll to hoe. This guy doesn't want a lot of water because it's an oak. This guy is going to need a certain amount of water to keep it from being killed by heat, because it's in a small little pot that doesn't hold a lot of soil. Will get hot in this heat in the summer. So that part of me that always looks inward, it might be that it's having the same trouble that the other trees are having, or it might be that I haven't found the balance to giving it the water it needs without overwatering it. To say the least, I've been burning the midnight oil, trying to watching videos and trying to up my May game, because I love little trees like Shohans and Mames and those guys. I love the little trees, and just as like I love the big trees. And to that end, there's one thing that I don't think I really discussed here too much. All three of these bald cypress trees have a root ball that had already been very, very nicely taken care of by the bonsai growers who I acquired those trees from. In other words, they all three were ready to go in a bonsai pot. The deal with that, though, for me, and that's a great option. I loved that much care had been given to them. But we've got this stuff that we have to overgrow. We've got to turn all of those chops into taper. So what I did was, let's say, for instance, the bonsai, the root ball, that is 8 inches. I mean, it's a little over 6 inches as the bird flies, but with the curvature, that's probably 8 inches deep worth of soil. The root balls at one point when I got them could have been done at that level. They were probably ready to go whenever I put them in this pot at that level. And from here down is a solid akadama. And what I want is for those roots to just go down over the next 3, 4, 5 years. And I mean, that is a rather large training tub. That is not our finished product. So let's say 5 years from now, when that is a solid looking mass of broken down akadama, and all of those chops have been healed over, and all of that has become taper, and this guy is now going to be about in here. The center one will be a little taller, and it's cathedral tops too, and then this one will be about the same height as this one. So they'll all be up here, and all of their taper will be done. So at that point, we'll pull that huge mass out, and we will cut off about, just absolutely saw all those new roots that grew from here down in that akadama. We'll just cut all those right back, right flush across. And I kind of want to tell you what kind of pot I have in mind. And another part of me goes, well, Pat, you kind of design by feel, and for you, that's always changing. So anything that you want to do right now, you'll probably change your mind in 5 years, because like fashion, it kind of evolves. But what I see is I'd like to do a shallow rectangle pot, and since they are not evergreens, I'd like it to be possibly white, and I'm thinking that would be really pretty. And of course, it's not going to be anywhere near that deep, because like I said, I'm just going to take a saw and straight cut right across that whole mound inside this tub, and then from there we'll start raking back and seeing what we got and teasing the roots. But the first thing I will do is saw the bottom off of that root ball, because once all of those trunks are made, that'll be the stuff that all grew while it was in that tub, and that'll be the point that I'm thinking that I will be cutting it back to when this is all over. And I'll probably and the idea is to keep them like that pretty much. I don't know that I'm gonna get away with keeping the 3 trees matted together on the next repot, because the center tree is on top of the ground. It's literally on top of the ground. But the far one is below the ground an inch or two, so it might need to come up. In this one, I don't remember. I don't remember if that was. I think there's probably a few. It'll probably need to come up as well. So, but that's what'll go on there. And like I said, I see it in a narrower, rather shallow rectangle pot when this thing finally does get transplanted, and in the meantime, or gets repotted. And in the meantime, this is our training pot. I think it's pretty. I think it's something that I'm going to be looking at in some state like this for, I'm probably guessing about 5 or 6 years. I'm betting by then we'll either be done or nearly. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Let's just see. Let's just see how this comes out. But that's what I think we'll have going there. Anyway, that's the plan. The rest of the parts for our copper lined shelf, they say that FedEx will deliver tomorrow by 8 o'clock. Let's just be clear. I'm in Alameda, California, and it said that it was currently in Illinois. So it doesn't usually show up on the same day if it's over 50 miles away, let alone on the wrong half of the state. So I'm not really expecting to get started on this for a couple of days, well, whenever that finally does show up. But in the meantime, all of our jacks are now in play. Our shelf has been lowered. Our copper's here. Our nails are here. We're still waiting on the wood. I need to come up with a backsplash because on this side, the copper is going to go up that gray part that belongs to the landlord, and that's our backsplash. On this side, we have a chunk of daylight here, right? And I can't swing a hammer to nail a piece of ridge or molding, but what I can do is take a piece of molding and put it on an angle bracket, lay it up against here, and then put screws in the bottom of the angle bracket. That's probably the easiest, cheesiest way to get out of that. It's going to be wrapped in copper anyway, so we'll never see it. But if I do it okay, it won't even look bad if we do, but it'll be wrapped in copper. We won't even have as much of the landlord's rail back there to cover, so the whole thing, the front and the back, will probably be covered by 18 inches of copper, whereas this will have a little bit on the face, and then it'll wrap around, go all the way down the inside, and then across that 12 inches, up that 4 inches, and then at that point, if there's anything left, it can go out on the deck. But 12 plus this is a 4, so it's going to go down 2, 4 there, 16, and then it might not even go. I'll have to look at it. It's not going to go out very far on the top of the deck, because that is a 2x12, and I'm putting a 4-inch cap on the outside of it. It's going to be centered, so maybe the copper will be lined on 2 inches of the inside, but then probably 2 inches of the outside. and then it's a 1/4 inch thick, so that's 4 1/4 plus 12 is 16 1/4, and then if it goes up that 3, that's more than that's 19, and we got 18, so that's fine. That's fine. We're making it up as we go along. We're going to be able to get a pretty deep copper gutter out of that, and it's not holding back the rapids anyway. It's just holding back a little dragon water from our bonsai trees. And man, I love our bonsai trees. So, okay, that's got us on the parts. That's got us on our intentions with the construction. That's got us with our intentions on what we're planning on doing with the extra root ball we're growing. And I did make it clear that I feel like that extra room for that root ball is needed right now while we're in a training pod, trying to get all that growth going. I mean, as soon as those trees have grown all the parts we needed, we'll jettison all the stuff that we've grown anew. I hope in my hopping around I didn't miss out on that part. So that's pretty much what's going on there. Everybody's still getting, the oaks are still getting treated. Everybody else seems like they're doing really well. And that's a little quick look at our show hen ponderosa pine. It sure is pretty. And I guess I might have blown the, I don't think I'm a show hand with this cypress anymore. I'll probably have to cut that back a few inches to qualify as show hand at this point. But yeah, that's our twin trunk all cypress. And it's breezy, but it's also been real windy. So, I mean, it's also been pretty hot. Not so much now that the wind's blowing, it feels better, but today was a really hot day, as it was yesterday. It's like, you don't want to overwater, but you find yourself checking the water more than once a day. So, yeah, onward and upward on our little bonsai balcony. Like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching.